So today I want to talk about a headline that I've seen all over the place. And for me, this particular headline and this particular article is a lesson in media literacy, because the headline says one thing and then you read the article and the article has nothing at all to do with the headline. So in this particular article, it says that the other brother has dealt Harry and Meghan a major blow. And then nothing. And I'm thinking, okay, what is the major blow? Let me read the article. Of you taking free money from the Duchy, I don't know what those terms are. So what has that got to do with the fact that Australians have not improved their opinion of Harry and Meghan? I don't know. Honestly, this is my point, that what they do is look for false equivalence. So they take something that is huge and they take something so ridiculous and so mundane and they try to put the two together. So for me, I just thought to myself, this is a massive lesson in media literacy, and never believe anything that comes out of the UK. Seriously. So at no point in this article does it explain what the actual blow is. Now, the Duchy announcement has nothing to do with Harry and Meghan. The land sale does not affect Harry and Meghan. The affordable housing investment does not disadvantage Harry and Meghan. The 500 million program is not a weapon aimed at California. So it depends on which article you read on the day. And it's not even from different papers. It's the same paper telling us different things depending on the time of day. So this is what they do. When they want to say negative things about the other brother, they've got to drag in and bolt on Harry and Meghan's name, because they can't criticize him without dragging somebody else in. And it's a continuation of hundreds of years of practice where every heir, when they were little, you couldn't punish them directly, you couldn't beat them directly, so you had to beat a whipping boy. And that is exactly what Meghan and Harry are providing to the other brother.
Family, gather round, because apparently, where is it? Because what follows is not a blow. It's a property announcement. That's it. William announces a Duchy land sale. William announces investment plans. William announces housing initiatives. William announces development projects. And somehow, somewhere, through the magical powers of royal reporting, that becomes a direct attack on two people living 5,000 miles away in California. The math is simply not mathing. The logic is not logicking. The headline is doing Olympic. Does a Duchy investment program affect Meghan's jam? How does a land sale interfere with Harry's work? How does a property strategy derail Invictus? How does any of this prevent anybody from lighting candles with, as ever, matches? The answer is simple. It doesn't. The article spends hundreds of words describing William's plans. Then, right at the end, almost as an afterthought, we get the Australian polling statistic. And this is where things become very interesting, because we're told that more than 80% of Australians said Harry and Meghan's recent visit did not improve their opinion of them. Sounds terrible, right? Except that's not actually the question people think it is. There is a huge difference between asking, "Do you like Harry and Meghan?" and asking, "Did this visit improve your opinion of Harry and Meghan?" Those are completely different questions. Imagine somebody already likes Harry and Meghan. Imagine they watched the visit. Imagine they still like Harry and Meghan exactly as much afterward. That person would answer no. Their opinion did not improve. It stayed the same. A person who was already supportive before the visit contributes to that supposedly negative statistic. A neutral person who remains neutral contributes to that statistic. The question is constructed in a way that creates a discouraging headline, regardless of what underlying opinions actually look like. And yet, somehow, we're supposed to treat this as evidence of a royal knockout punch. Please. Then we arrive at the favourite royal media pastime: polling numbers, the sacred numbers, the numbers that appear in every article, the numbers that are supposed to settle every argument. William sits at 76%, Kate sits at 75%. Wonderful. Lovely. Now let's examine the wider picture, because the same polling landscape reveals something equally important. Among younger generations, support for the monarchy looks dramatically different. Large sections of younger voters are far less enthusiastic than older age groups. The generational divide is substantial. The institution remains strongest among demographics that have supported it for decades. Meanwhile, younger audiences often view the monarchy through a very different lens. That doesn't mean William isn't popular. He clearly is. But it does mean the simple headline number tells only part of the story. And that missing context matters. Because, once again, we're being encouraged to see everything as a competition. William's approval number goes up. Therefore, Harry loses. William launches a project. Therefore, Meghan loses. William attends an event. Therefore, the Sussexes lose. This is the framework royal commentators desperately want audiences to accept. The problem is that reality keeps refusing to cooperate. Let's address the central issue. William cannot meaningfully control Harry and Meghan's lives. That chapter ended years ago. Harry and Meghan are not working royals. William does not supervise them. He does not sign off on their projects. He does not approve their business decisions. He does not determine their income. He does not decide their partnerships. He does not control their contracts. He does not manage their schedules. He does not dictate their opportunities. The leverage simply isn't there. That's the uncomfortable reality hiding underneath all these dramatic headlines. Because for a blow to exist, there has to be something one party can take away from another. What exactly is William withholding? What is the mechanism? What is the pressure point? What is the dependency? Nobody ever explains that part, because they can't. A blow requires leverage, and leverage requires dependence. Harry and Meghan don't appear dependent on William. Not professionally, not financially, not institutionally, not operationally. So where exactly is the devastating impact supposed to come from? The answer is usually implication. The implication that William possesses some invisible power capable of ruining everything at any moment. Yet every year the evidence points in the opposite direction. Projects continue, partnerships continue, Invictus continues, business ventures continue, media ventures continue, public appearances continue, life continues. Which brings us to my favourite part of this entire story, the contrast. Because while commentators are busy writing dramatic fan fiction about royal power moves, reality keeps producing a much funnier picture. Harry and Meghan have lifestyle products. They have media projects. They have business ventures. They have public engagements. They have new partnerships. They have future plans. They have momentum. And the media keeps responding by announcing another imaginary defeat. It's like watching somebody score a goal while the commentator insists they've actually lost the match. At some point, audiences start noticing. At some point, people begin asking questions. At some point, somebody raises a hand and says, "Sorry, but if they're constantly losing, why do they keep moving forward?" That is the question nobody wants to answer, because it complicates the narrative. The narrative requires permanent crisis, permanent failure, permanent collapse, permanent disaster. Yet somehow the disaster never arrives. The collapse remains permanently scheduled for next week, every week, for years. And now we're being told that a Duchy land announcement is the latest chapter in this saga. A major blow, a crushing setback, a devastating defeat, a royal masterstroke. Family, if affordable housing developments in Cornwall are now being classified as attacks on Montecito, the headline writers may have finally run out of material. Because from where I'm sitting, William announced a property programme. Harry and Meghan continued living their lives. Those are not the same story. The real story isn't the supposed blow. The real story is how desperately some corners of the media need every William headline to become a Harry and Meghan headline. Every achievement must become a comparison. Every announcement must become a battle. Every event must become a scorecard. Because without the rivalry, many of these stories simply don't have enough fuel. And that's why we're left with this extraordinary situation. William has the Duchy. William has the projects. William has the announcements. William has the headlines. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan have their businesses, their ventures, their audience, their future plans, their independence. And somehow we're expected to believe one side is delivering devastating blows to the other. No, that's not a blow. That's two completely separate realities moving in different directions. One operating inside the institution, one operating outside it. And perhaps that's the part some people still haven't fully accepted. The separation happened, the dependency ended, the leverage disappeared. Which leaves us with one final question. If Harry and Meghan genuinely do not need anything from William, if William genuinely has no authority over Harry and Meghan, if both sides are pursuing entirely different paths, then maybe the biggest blow of all is not being dealt to Harry and Meghan. Maybe it's being dealt to the narrative that insists they are still trapped in a game they already left years ago. And with that, Sussex gang, let me know what you think below. Because if somebody claims a major blow has been delivered, the least they can do is show us where it landed.